That is the solid Citadel. That is why even the brutes cannot overtake them.
So that's why they can focus on attacking your tribe.
All you gotta do is kill the boss.
Mick the Slug is very careful. He never sets foot on the battlefield.
That's no good. What do we do?
The Maribel will create a diversion, while we distract the solids, sneak in, and kill Mick.
And after that short and to the point cutscene, welcome back to Digital Devil Saga. Last time we defeated literal Batman, but we did not eat him because Agila didn't want us to. I'm gonna go ahead and switch my party back over to the original order now, just because, I don't know, I like this order. So, we're heading out into the Citadel of the Solids now, where the Maribel, they just said they're going to create a diversion. He has a bad feeling and he doesn't know why, but Janana seems pretty trustworthy. Hopefully. Yeah, the funny thing about Mick is that his nickname is Mick the Slug. That's only in the localization. In Japanese, he's known as Mick the Nick. I don't know why, unless it's like meant to be like Niku for meat. I'm not sure. But here's the thing, a lot of people think that you are locked into the solid Citadel attack after you defeat Bat. You actually aren't. You can leave the area if you want to go back and buy some things at vendors or other things like that. Once you actually start infiltrating the Citadel though, it's going to be a little hard to back out when you're in there. So now might be a good time to stock up on items if you need them. Anahata means the sound produced without touching two parts, and also can mean pure, clean, or stainless. That's not actually very relevant to this place at all. And yeah, the fact they have this giant fortress, and that's the reason why, well, there's a little bit of consequence of leaving, and that's the why nobody's really conquered them yet. I guess these guys follow my Age of Empires strategy of just building walls and fortresses everywhere and just turtling. That's what I always used to do when I played Age of Empires. Cannons have been placed to repel intruders. Well, they're not really going to see a lot of use here. Kind of wish there was some gameplay implication of the cannons. There isn't. And now it is time to go all Metal Gear Solid on the Solid Citadel. Oh, you say that, and yeah, turns out they have done the exact opposite of not learning. They have, well, learned. The Citadel. This is probably the first, like, truly complicated dungeon, and the Maribel base was already more complicated than the Vanguard base. This one has a decent amount to it, and kind of an interesting and fun gimmick to it as well. Firstly, though, there won't be a whole lot going on. Since the soldiers have left and they don't know we're here, we're not going to have random encounters, so we can loot their chests as much as we want. Dark Veil. I've actually forgotten what that does. Death! All! I love that description. But yeah, I believe it just casts Moodle, but that's just a really funny description. I would say that I really like this game's descriptions. I think they're all very short and to the point, and they usually are pretty accurate, though I do wish skills like Critical actually told you that it was, you know, what it actually did, that it actually only affected basic attacks and not skills. Blast! Another very simple item name. Moderate force damage to everything, and Shock Bomber's moderate electricity damage to everything. Okay, so we got guns and also binoculars. Yeah, like some people wish that modern military theming to the start of this game actually had more relevance. Yeah, they kind of did that with Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey, where you're part of a US military expedition to Antarctica to explore a demon rift. So that is one cool thing about the SMT series, is they often do experiment with like unique settings for RPGs. But in here we have Wind Wall ×3. Actually a bit more useful than the equivalent skill in Persona because it can block enemies' press turns. So it seems like enemies might have The beds are still warm. Let's get out of here now. It seems like we might be encountering things that use wind and electricity soon. Actually, not a whole lot. I mean, some, but yeah. Honestly, there's more in here that's weak to those elements. Moldy roll. Okay. And considering what people eat in this world, I really don't want to think about what's in that roll. I believe that's another one of like the side effect items. Yeah, restore HP medium? Question mark. Yeah, they have a random chance of giving you ailments. Which, again, it's interesting that sometimes speedruns rely on getting a certain proc out of them. We haven't actually seen stun yet, and the reason why I've said that stun, just right on time. The reason why I've said that I don't find stun that great in this game is all it really does is reduce physical accuracy. It doesn't actually give you a chance of, like, losing your turn or anything. It doesn't, like... I think it might lower your evasion or make it so that you're automatically hit by attacks or something, but, like, it's not really that dangerous in my view. In a sense, I kind of prefer if the bind ailment from Nocturne was in this game, if only because the skill that causes it has the hilarious name of Shibaboo. Now, they just gave us a save point, so that kind of implies that something is coming. And that it's going to explode, to make an obscure reference there. You know what? I almost wonder if this might be useful here. I don't see Hummer being that useful against what we're going to be going up against, but Void Expel might be. And yeah, I am kind of cheating because I know what's coming. And now the music just subtly changed a little bit now that we've got into the actual dangerous part of the dungeon. Yep, it's a couple of Archangels, and I specifically have listed in my notes, don't taunt Archangels. I did that in my practice run, and the double Tarukaja on them just made them slaughter me, so don't do that. So yeah, we have Archangels. They're probably going to use some form of Hummer on us, or physical attacks. They are quite strong physically. Okay, wow, you do not take much damage from that at all. I presume you're resistant to physical, but I can't scan you because, yeah. I'm going to set up a Void Expel just in case. I don't know if I'll actually try it. Oh, they are going to do it. Okay, good. Bye-bye press turns. You could also switch to human form to avoid Expel attacks, but at this point, that might be a little bit more trouble than it's worth. Oh, these things have wings and are not weak to guns, by the way. So I'm just going to... The problem is that you one of your party members ends up being dead weight if they're creating a shield every turn. But it can be useful, like, for example, if this happens. And in fact, it's probably intentional that they give you an enemy this early in the dungeon that is an Expel specialist. Yeah, you might be able to tell why. They're pretty cheap in terms of MP, though, these shields. Or they can use Mute Blow. Yeah, see how hard that hits? I mean, I know that Surf is a bit squishy in terms of vitality, but that's with no Tarukajas up. So you can probably see why I said not to taunt them. Okay, now, the turn that I don't use, oh no, it's still no Mute Blow, okay. Yeah, well, actually, Heat getting silence is not the worst thing in the world, but still. They do seem to be resistant to Earth. I wonder if I can actually devour those. Well, not with that. And I didn't get a chance to because it died. And I'll take one more vitality, because yeah, even with 16 vitality, they did quite a decent amount. Like, Serve almost has as much vitality as Heat right now, which is kind of sad. Do I have Dismutes? Dismutes are actually very useful to have. I've got 6 of them. Especially since, as you can probably tell, those Archangels are going to be showing up as regular enemies from here on out. But, from here on out, the Archangels will be weak to Mudor. So if you've got death skills, you can use those. If not, you can use that item that we just found. Bolt Flare, huh? But yeah, this right here is a Babe Kaffa. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It literally means Battle Crow. It's a god from also Irish mythology. In fact, you know what? I can just show this off now. I can use the Spyglass. Nobody ever needs to analyze ever again. Strong against physical, force, and earth. Weak to gun and fire. Null death. Good to know we don't immediately waste our death items. Or we can just miss. Okay. I forget if stun... Oh, we just got stunned, by the way. I forget if stun, like, lowers all your accuracy for everything, or if it's just your physical accuracy. I'd assume that it's just physical. However, I believe this is still guaranteed. No, it's not. Okay. So you can still fail devours with that if the enemy's frightened, if you're stunned. I guess stun is actually better than I gave it credit for. However, I guess that means more for you. And now let's go ahead and scan on the Bicorn. I know it's a Bicorn, and if you've played Persona 5, you should know it's a Bicorn. If you haven't played Persona 5, yeah, it's kind of unlikely that... I mean, I don't want to be all elitist and stuff, but I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Persona 5 now, and it's a first dungeon enemy in 5, so obviously you'll pretty much know it if you played 5. Strong against fire, ice, and force, weak against ailments, and drains elec. So, yeah, this right here is why you might want to go for one of the ailment mantras at this point. In fact, I'll probably start working on an ailment mantra as soon as I master something on anybody. Uh-oh. And there's still one more press turn. That's fine, though. I used the wrong skill there. I guess I can go for Miragi, but I don't know if this is going to have bad... No, I still hit 2 of them. So yeah, I must have just gotten unlucky that last time. I can go for Miragi again. Like, honestly, the Bicorns aren't really that much of a massive threat, but you will notice there is a pretty big step up in the enemies in this dungeon compared to the Maribel base. This is a decent difficulty spike. This game, like I said, is not the hardest of Shin Megami Tensei games, but it does have a few spikes here and there, and this is kind of one of them. I believe it did say it was strong against ice, right? Yeah, that looks like a resistance right there. Oh, there goes heat. That was my first party member KO, I just realized. So, okay, let's go ahead and revival the heat. Don't actually have a whole lot of revival items. I should probably buy a few. But at least that means he's no longer stunned. There we go. Okay, so that fight was a little touch and go, but at least I don't need to scan them anymore. HP, please? Okay, strength's not terrible. But I would appreciate that on heat right now. And yeah, because this dungeon is a little more difficult than normal, I definitely appreciate having my whole HP battery surf. Now here's the thing, my notes tell me to go through the left door first. The problem is, I don't know whether it's my left or like left on the map, or like left from the... Because this is right in terms of the room, but it's left on the map. So I'm a little, yeah, concerned by that. So I guess we'll see if I end up picking right. I didn't mean for that to be a pun, but okay. Since this is just a chest, I'm wondering... Oh, nice, giving me a revival item just when I complained about not having enough. Oh, yeah. A triple Bicorn is generally when you want things like poison spray or mass sleep. Okay, Heat now has Ice Spirit, Bufu, and Void Ice. I believe I actually did get Fire Boost on Surf. Yes, I did. Okay, so, I still like having that. There is stuff in this dungeon that's... I don't need Patra. Yeah, let's get rid of that. I mean, I do have Miragi, but, you know, with all of the crows, maybe I could take Miragi. Yeah, the thing in this game is that there is an inherent risk in area of effect skills, because if you run into an enemy group that has like one enemy that is weak to them, but another enemy that repels them, the repel will take precedence over the weakness when it comes to getting press turns. I want to say this is the way to progress. Oh, I've got a wall there. Yeah, you'll notice that the enemies are also starting to use more ailments, just at the point where ailments are becoming useful as an enemy weakness. I like that. Yeah, it will tell you when critical activates, but this was pretty much the most pointless time for it to do so. I already had blinking press turn, and the enemy was going to die anyway. Okay, we got a wall there. Again, there's always just that feeling of like... Did I go the right way, or did I not? It should be pretty obvious if I went the right way, though. This looks very much like the correct path, so I'm going to be heading back. But firstly, I'm gonna go ahead and, I made notes on this dungeon, and I still see everything wrong, because it's like, wait, is it left on the map, or is it left in the room? I suppose I could have used north, south, east, and west, because the map actually lists those as directions. I'll note that for next time. But inside this, I believe this is just more noises. Magic noise. Well, I mean, Surf's already overkill on that, so we know who's not getting that. And magic does also raise MP a little bit, so, I don't think there's anything in this room at all. That's weird. So, yeah, it could be useful if you want more MP on somebody like Heat, and in fact, I'm probably going to actually use it on Heat right now. Just because I would like him to have some more MP for taunting. Ah, hi, Archangel. Of course, you immediately mute me. Ah, it just got cursed, so I didn't expect that the first time we'd be seeing curse would be on an enemy. We might see the effects of curse now. Yeah, when it just died too. Okay, I've actually never seen curse help me like that, but considering that curse is considered a death skill, that Archangel would have been weak to it, so it would have a higher chance of being affected by curse. So, curse makes it so that whenever you deal damage, you take the same amount of damage back to yourself. And again, I'm pretty sure it is in Etrian Odyssey and Persona Q, and it works the exact same way. So, when you have very strong party members, curse can be a huge problem in that regard. Someone just got shocked there, but it didn't really do anything because there weren't any enemies to capitalize on it. Shock, as always, but I'll just say it again, goes away at the, freeze and shock last only through, through the inflictor's turns. Like, once the enemy takes their turn, they go away. Which is kind of how, things work in Nocturne. I'm pretty sure it is exactly how things work in Nocturne. Also, I did not know that you guys showed up this early in the dungeon as an encounter. We already saw them in a trap chest in the other dungeon, but we can actually scan them now, so I might as well. Weak to Force, Null, Death, and Nerve. Okay, what the heck is Nerve? That is something that I always wonder whenever I play the Shin Megami Tensei series. Nerve is kind of a term for, like, physical ailments, sort of. Nerve, I believe sleep and stun usually fall under the category of nerve. It means, generally it's ailments that immobilize you in some way are classified under nerve. There might also, there's occasionally mind. Mind is usually mental ailments like, sometimes mute, sometimes charm. But in this game, charm is its own thing. And mute is, considered its own element. So, yeah, it changes a lot, the way that ailments work. But if an enemy says it's weak to ailments, it's weak to all ailments. I mean, since the save point is so close, I might as well get Heat a new one. I guess I can show this off. 3 hunt skills. Yeah, that's actually pretty strong. So maybe it might not be the worst thing in the world here. Oh, something that I was also informed by the comment section. So combo skills ignore buffs and debuffs on the party. Venom Claw and Mad Rush. I only got that because I want the next mantra across. But yeah, so for example, if like one of your party members is Tarukajed, but like another one isn't, which is kind of hard to have happen because buffs affect the whole party in this game. But like if you have different amounts of buffs and debuffs on different characters, then basically all of them are treated as plus or minus 0 for the purposes of combo skills, which when you think about it makes a lot of sense because otherwise, you know, how would they really calculate like buffs and debuffs? Would they use the average stat value of everybody in the combo? I think that one's nearly dead. It is. It's subtle, but I like how every character's gun has a different sound effect. It's just one of those little charms this game has. Wow, okay. More AP for me, I guess. There we go. Oh, it's not quite Earthshrine mastered. But I kind of need the extra magic on Surf right now. there's that many enemies here that are weak to a lot of magic, but there are some. Well, I had a feeling that I was going to miss that. Don't know why, I could just sense it coming. Didn't get the, Oh, okay, hi there, Void Death. I believe that's going to stop you from getting Curse as well, because Curse is considered a death skill. It's funny, because in Persona 5, Curse is the element that death skills belong to, whereas in this game, Curse is a subset of death. Also, I just realized that Heat has barely any HP left. Oh, really? And by that I mean he has almost full, because Surf healing is ridiculous. Thank you! I was hoping it would do something silly after it got cursed. And yet that still wasn't enough. I just realized that I'm kind of getting a reverse recording curse with this series, because this is legitimately the first time that I have ever seen curse actually mean something when applied to the enemy. Normally, I'm the one getting hit by curse. Speaking of, I probably should have bought more dismutes going to this place. Okay, so everybody needs new mantras right now, and Surf is... Oh, right, this one actually takes a while to master, but the enemies are a little beefier here, so that means more AP. I mean, 2 people with Taunt, though, which is kind of silly. I normally only have 1 Taunter. I'm going to go for Argilla next, because she has access to Ancient God now, but I would very much like to get some ailments on somebody. So let's take Adamant. Meanwhile, I think I actually have enough marker to go for one of the more... Well, not one of those, but I can go for this one. Comatose, Stun Needle, Null Critical, Quick Cure. Comatose is okay. So I'll take that. I do want to save some marker, because after this dungeon, I'm going to want to buy a really expensive marker on a certain character. Did I just say buy a really expensive marker? I meant mantra. Okay, now I can get my crow eating revenge. I just realized that eating crow is a real term. Yeah, it's also weird that one of the really, really strong physical mantras is called Princess. Some of the physical mantras have very strange names. Well, you know, of course, there's also Wikipedia. Okay, good that Devour put her a little bit into Adamant, which I really do want, because again, ailments. Ailments are very kind of useful, especially poison. Because we're actually going to be encountering a mini-boss in this dungeon that's weak to poison. Some enemies are weak to specific ailments, and some are weak to all of them. Speaking of poison... Probably need to have a stopover at the Surf Heal Terminal after that. And now we have 2 doors. But, right now, yeah, we already have our path determined for us. In fact, if I remember correctly, there is a mini-boss behind that one. Of course, there was another save point right here. This just always happens. You backtrack to a save point, and it turns out there was one... I had a feeling there was one right in front of me. But okay. It's fine. It's all good. The Citadel B. That's just reminding me of, like, the final dungeon in Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse has, like, the teleporters go all the way up to, like, G and even more. But anyway, the gaze of this giant red-eyed statue is fixed in this direction. I wonder. Well, we've got a bit of an introduction to a gimmick here, because we have no choice but to walk in front of the red-eyed statue. I'm sure that won't backfire on us. So that's your introduction to this dungeon's gimmick. Statues with red eyes will drop you in pits if you stand directly in front of them. So don't stand directly in front of a red-eyed statue. Fortunately, that is the only time that will happen when you don't have a choice. And they drop you into this lower floor, which is apparently full of toxic gas. Allegedly toxic gas. I say allegedly toxic gas because the way the toxic gas works is kind of strange. It doesn't actually poison you or really harm you much in any way. All it really does is... Oh, that, okay. Sometimes you'll see a commotion if you try and enter a door, and usually what that means is... There's a Guki. These are exactly the same as the Gukis from the previous dungeon, except we're like 1 dungeon in, so they're not really going to be as much of a threat, but actually still kind of a threat. Yeah, I should be using Argy now against anything that's not immune, because I have Fire Boost on Surf. That is a very good death sound, like a lot of enemies in this game. So you kind of want to fight those Gyukis because some of the rooms have treasure chests in them. In fact, here's the thing. So this entire lower area, this is really the only time you're forced to go here. You'll be dropped down here every time you fall down a pit, and it's meant to be like a punishment area, but there are a lot of chests in this place, and I want to grab all of them. So yeah, we're going to be in here for a little while. I like to clean out this place in the first visit, and then just ignore it for the rest of the dungeon, because you can kind of afford to. So, yeah. This is what the poison gas does. It just flips you around. You can just turn around and press the circle button to immediately cancel the effect. It's really strange. But down here we sometimes encounter Nekomatas, and I'm going to zero them first. Oh, I didn't get the shock. These things look really funny if you get shock on them. I'm going to go ahead and spyglass you. I've always liked Nekomata's design, but that, you know, makes me sound a little bit degenerate for saying so. Weak to Elec, Null Charm. Okay. Oh, they have Marin Karen, though, and Tsukaja, and Void Elec, so you kind of want to hit them with, like, an all-targeting Elec attack, or, like, get rid of them early with Elec skills, because otherwise they'll start, you know, making themselves immune. That's moderate force damage, Sonic Stone, Shock Bomb, here we go. You really don't want to let them start getting their Marin Karens off. And yes, when they're stunned, they just T-pose, basically T-pose, in mid-air. They also make funny screaming noises when they die. Like, again, a lot of demons in this game. But yeah, Nekomatas are very much an amusing thing. I believe this is another Gyuki. From now on, unless anything really interesting happens, I'll be cutting out Gyuki fights. They're all basically the same. The music is cool, though. Huh, actually. I wonder. Yeah, that works. Here's the problem, though. If you're doing that on the only enemy in a battle, there is a chance you'll get a stomach ache, and that will immediately ruin all your AP for the fight. So again, risk versus reward, whether you go for that. We're only kind of in the early stages of this dungeon. I think it's perfectly, you know, acceptable for us to go for that. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to get AP later. Dead body of a Maribel member. Don't stand in front of the red-eyed statues. Well, we kind of already figured that out, but that's just there in case, you know, you haven't got the memo by now. Okay, single Nekomata is fine. It's very likely to just die. Also, yeah, I do feel like enemies that are weak against Zio have a higher chance of getting shocked. I don't know if that's like a placebo effect or not, but I do remember that like in Nocturne, Fornius tended to get shocked a lot. Fornius being the first boss in that game that is weak to Zio. Oh, I don't really... Yeah, I'm not going to bother with this. Terazi, I believe, is the second tier of Terra. Okay, that sucks. Please don't Marin Karen me. I don't think Tsukaja makes it less likely for you to run. Okay, there we go. Good. Got the escape. Sorry, Nekomatas. We don't want no repeat of the furry incident of my stream today. Another dead body. Worn out words. Left is right, but right is left. That's actually important. That's a hint at a puzzle later on in this dungeon. So yeah, it's kind of cool how it is sometimes worth your while to explore this area. Because not only are there treasure chests, there are also some hints at the rest of the dungeon. So I like to cover this whole area when I first fall in. Of course, there's nothing here. Now, I should also mention, speaking of this area is very infamous among fans of this game, because this is where the ultimate boss of this game is, but he only appears on New Game Plus. I'll point out the room that he is in when we get there, because surprisingly few online guides actually tell you where the super boss is. Usually they just say, oh, it's in the basement floor of the Solid Citadel. They don't actually say where it is. It's in kind of a very centrally located room. Once you know the room like it is, it's kind of obvious like that it should be in that one. But yeah, I'll be sure to point out that room. I was kind of expecting an ambush there. It's funny how one of the demon species in this game is just demon. I think it's like the same race as things like this. It's the same classification as things like brutes or like the various types of Oni. It was always just something that I was just always had an issue with in terms of the translations. Like, it's just like, Like, I think brute is a great translation for, like, I think, like, battle ogre is the Japanese kanji for that demon species name. But then you've got, like, the other ones, like Torki, which literally means fighting ogre, and, like, there's a Genma, illusion demon. I think the Nekomatas are higher priority than the slimes. Because I can just Matera them. I really hate eating these things. Because not only are they humanoid, they're also cats. So it's doubly painful. But it must be done for the AP. Okay, I think I'll take another Vitality this time. Then the next level up, I'll go for 2 Vitality. Yes! Thank you! That was very well timed. So now I can essentially convert that MP into extra HP. And yeah, this right here is where you're supposed to leave the lower area, but I'm going to stay here for a little bit. I mean, it does sound a little painful when they die, like, those screams, but yeah. I wonder who, like, actually voiced a lot of the generic demon voice clips, because, they kind of deserve a raise in some regards. Alright, here we go. We have another one of the turned around hallways here, which we can just do that in. High random encounter. That is a lot of Akusas. I like the way they spin around their staves to use their their magic attacks too. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that would kill everything. Okay, we are getting some progress on Adamant. I do want Adamant soon. And there's nothing for us here. I just like to fill out the map, though. The poison gas effects, by the way, they occur in scripted locations. So, yeah. Whenever, like, you go into one of those little hallways, yeah, that's a Gyuki. I had a feeling there would be a Gyuki in this one. So while I'm down there, I can mention the normal battle theme in this game is just called Hunting. And I mostly remember that because there's a remix of it in the sequel called Hunting Betrayal, which is really cool, but it's mostly used for, like, the super bosses in that game. That's why you hear Hunting Betrayal quite a lot. Yeah, it's hard to say, but, like, this game has a great OST. Like, for some reason, like, this OST is a lot, like, lighter, I feel, than Nocturne. Oh, wow, I'd love it if I had Last Meal right now, because then I could just hit all of them with an instant devour, but yeah. So yeah, it's like, it kind of feels like a lighter version of Nocturne style, yeah, Surf's strength is a little lower, so he's not going to get the biggest benefit out of that. Out of the devour skills, I mean, so he's probably, that's why I'm having him work on the instant death devour mantra. But as I was saying, it's hard for me to say whether I like the soundtrack of this game or the sequel more, because the sequel has some really, like, I know that I feel like it's, the term iconic is often forced, like, very forced, but, like, some of, I feel, the most iconic songs in Mega 10 history are in Digital Devil Saga 2. Especially battle themes. The final boss theme of Digital Devil Saga 2, to jump the gun a lot, I believe Death Battle used it once. It's that, like, beloved. And I think it's like Big Battle in Digital Devil Saga 2, like that's also a really good song. In fact, it's one that this is a weird thing to say, but in if I ever made a hypothetical Ace Attorney game, I would use that as the game's pursuit theme. Because it sounds like it could be a pursuit theme. If you haven't, I mean, hopefully any footage of it will not contain spoilers. But yeah, if you want to look up, I think it's Big Battle. I know there's another one called Heroic Battle, but I think that's a different song. But like Big Battle or Epic Battle, I think it is, maybe. But yeah, that's a really good song. Approach the yellow-eyed ones with caution. Now we'll see what the yellow-eyed ones do a little later. In fact, I think we're actually close to the room. The room where it happens, one could say. And by it, I mean you being horribly destroyed on New Game Plus. It might actually be this room right here. No, actually, no, I think it is the other one. I think it's actually this one right here. Because this is like, it's like in the absolute topmost room of this whole honeycomb region. So, yeah, that room right there, I believe the one that I'm pointing to is where I can say it right now, the Demi-Fiend, is where the Demi-Fiend is. It should be where the Demi-Fiend is, at least. And almost done with exploring these trap rooms, don't worry. We've got a good amount of AP out of the deal, though. And hopefully, we're not going to end up down here again. It's only activated when it isn't useful. At least we get to see damage numbers above 100. You'll see damage numbers well above that if you fight the Demi-Fiend. He has an attack that does like 5 digits worth of damage, and you might have noticed the HP cap in this game is only 999. Yeah, that's an actual thing that... there's this little bit of my map that I haven't filled out yet, but like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, map perfectionist. My sister is now probably, yeah, she's, definitely getting mad at me from that. Okay, here we go. We're back in the land of the kind of living. Oh, cows, hi. That's a weird thing to say. Actually, these are bulls. So, not to make light of, you know, this at all, but, I'll just say, I have been misgendering this demon my entire time playing this game. Apis is an Egyptian bull god, not goddess, god, worshipped in Memphis. I thought that these were girls, because I was like, oh, hey, cow, must be female. I think I was thinking of Hathor from, what was it again? From other SMT games, because Hathor is definitely female and is a Egyptian cow deity. But yeah, they have a lot of buffs, and they like to get their first turn, like an ambush, and just spam buffs. They are weak to earth, though. Repel, though. Repel, fire, ice, elect, and force, null, expel, and ailment. So, like, if you're not using things they're weak to, you probably shouldn't bother. Oh, I love when they get frightened, though, because now we can have some roast beef. Or not. That did a lot of damage for Argilla. She has been getting pretty lucky with her strength increases, though. Oh, great, we let them have a turn. Oh, no, just Argy, that's... Well, I mean, you got a weakness. And now Argylau on the person who resists it, okay. Logic. What is it today? Can I get you? No? Okay. Nope. Is it even in the red? Oh yeah, and they have the drain skill for their weakness, because of course they do. Okay, now you're in red. But these things nullify ailments, so having Adamant Mastered is not really the best. They do seem to give decent amounts of AP, though. I think speedruns have kind of a meme for the fact that, like, the cows are, like, the fastest thing in this dungeon in terms of getting ambushes. But okay, you might notice there, that's the way to progress. But there are 2 red-eyed statues there, so we cannot go there without falling in a pit. But there's something that can be inserted in the statue's side. So our goal for the next leg of the dungeon is finding a way to turn these red-eyed statues off so that we can safely progress. And I believe we are getting close to a save point. In fact, yeah, there's a save point right there. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be stealing a catchphrase from a speedrunner. It's your boy! Okay, so this is a Moikane. A Moikane is that metal slime enemy that I mentioned earlier that appears in basically every dungeon in the game. It loves to use Debilitate, and the only real way that you can kill it is with guns. And I'm just going to show this right now. You're probably not really going to be able to practically kill them at this point. And I can try Taunt, but I'm already at -1 accuracy and attack because of the Debilitate. And I missed. And it's going to run, isn't it? Yeah, run away. So, yeah. From a game design standpoint, I don't really like Moikanes because you really cannot kill them until you have in-game ammo and skills. It's kind of annoying. I'm probably saying annoying too much. Oh, hang on. I do believe. Yep, that's a boing. So yeah, this is showing off how this works. If you hit a repel, you lose all your press turns, and it does not matter at all if Yeah. If you hit a weakness with their attacks. Like, you just straight up lose all your turns. So that's why repel shields can be kind of cool. So here, this is where single target attacks are cool. Oh, we got a curse on the cow. I mean, bull, but that's a male cow. No, it's not attacking though. I don't even think they ever use physical attacks. They seem to be more support characters. Support cows, you could say. Okay. Oh, it didn't destroy itself with curse. No self-destructing cows today, to use my trademark big clinky out of context clips. Yeah, that is a large car terminal. So now is actually the perfect place to stop this video, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and heal up my MP, save, and I'll see you all next time for the next leg of the Solid Citadel. Solid Citadel 2, Attack of the Red Eye Statues. See you all then.